Hi, this is Pastor Ken, and I'm going to share with you some sermon illustrations from my index cards that I collected over a period of about 45 years. 42 years of serving as pastor, preacher, and then the 3 years in seminary education. So I started in seminary collecting these cards. And I wanted to share them with you. So if you find something of value, you can use it in your preaching, or you can just use it in your personal life, or just enjoy the stories. The first one is about St. Francis and a woman coming to St. Francis. A woman came to St. Francis admitting that she had been guilty of malicious gossip, and she wanted to know how she might find forgiveness. So St. Francis told her to pluck a goose and lay a feather on the doorstep of each person she had wronged. Then, the next day, collect the feathers again. Of course, she did this, and she came back to St. Francis and said she couldn't collect them because the wind had blown them all away. And so St. Francis gave her this counsel. You can never recall the words you have spoken. They've been carried on their own away doing harm. No reparation is possible. Ask God to forgive you. I feel like I'm in the news station reading news reports. Paganini was one of the greatest violinists of all time. He made his concert debut at age 9. He performed beautifully and often gave his audiences a tremendous concert. He died in 1840, and his will specified that the Stradivarius violin was to go to the city of his birth, Genoa, Italy. And there it remained in a glass case. The will required that it was never to be played again. The violin decayed and became worm-eaten. The violin that had thrilled the audiences now was useless. Here's a good one for you if you're a Methodist, or was a Methodist. Many Methodists are getting out of their churches due to all the nonsense and demonic things, and I'll put communist things that are happening, takeover. It goes all the way back to the year 1849. There was a Methodist bishop by the name of William Taylor, and he went out to California, and he was in San Francisco in 1849. There was no church there for him to preach, but he noticed that on Sundays there was usually a lot of people in the street. And so what he did, he would roll a barrel out and stand on it at the corner street, shouting from the top of his voice, "What's the news? What's the news?" And then when people gathered around, he would begin by saying, "Thank God, brethren, I have good news for you this morning." Now, this is one of my favorites. And it comes from the cartoon, The World of Dennis the Menace. The cartoon shows Dennis and Joey just getting out of Mrs. Wilson's house, and the boys had cookies in their hands. And Joey makes this observation. I wonder what we did to deserve this. And Dennis said, look, Joey, Mrs. Wilson gave us cookies, not because we were nice, but because she is nice. The grace of God. Next item. And this, I did this one on another video. I called it the joke I probably should have never told from the pulpit. Got a lot of interest because that was the title of it. A Sunday school teacher was concerned that the children would be a little bit confused about where Jesus was. So a Sunday school teacher is trying to instruct children on where Jesus was, his birth and his resurrection and his ascension to heaven. So she wanted to quiz them about, where is Jesus right now? Of course, meaning, he's up in heaven with the Father. So Stephen answered, yeah, he's in heaven. And the other one answered, no, he's in my heart. And little Johnny, he says, no, that's not right. I know exactly where Jesus is. And the teacher looked at him, was puzzled, and said, oh, excuse me. I know where Jesus is. I know where God lives. Why? Well, because my dad gets up and he bangs on the bathroom door and he yells and screams at the top of his voice, my God, are you still in there? So he's in the bathroom at our house. Again, little Johnny, that makes for good stories, was in the kitchen and his mother was making something. And she said, oh, would you please go into the pantry and get me a can of tomato soup? Well, I don't want to go in there. It's dark. I'm scared. She says, it's okay. Jesus will be with you in there. So Johnny began to walk into the dark pantry. He peeked inside and saw it was very dark. And he said and yelled, Jesus, if you're in there, would you please hand me a can of tomato soup? Now, this one is a cartoon, so I'm going to have to show you the cartoon after I'm done so you can literally see it. But it shows an individual on a balcony, like in a medieval castle, looking out with the caption. He says, in conclusion, fellow peasants, let me stress the need for peace and harmony. Obviously, this is a king or a prince. Then back out on the balcony, looking out over where the peasants are. Remember the golden rule. Remember the golden rule must be that we all live by the golden rule. And the third caption is, the peasants are all down at the bottom of in the ground saying, what is the golden rule? What the heck is the golden rule? And of course, he comes off of the balcony and comes down and has his guitar and says, whoever has the gold makes the rule. I hope you can see this. Whoever has the gold makes the rule. Well, I hope you enjoyed these, and I'll try to do another one sometime. I have thousands of these. And if anyone has helped you or you just enjoyed the stories, hey, drop me a note and let me know. I'd appreciate it. This concludes the live stream.